CNN Blockchain Media News. Rihanna, did you attend any of P. Diddy's parties? Were you involved in any of the freak-offs? That's crazy.
March 2025 changed Hollywood forever. FBI raids, leaked court files, and one woman's stunned silence stole the spotlight. Rihanna didn't say much, but her reaction spoke louder than Diddy's secrets. Why was she shaken? And what did she know? On March 14, 2025, Hollywood barely slept. At exactly 11:47 p.m., TMZ dropped a headline that would hijack the internet. FBI files from Diddy raid leak online.
New exhibits and evidence showing what was inside Diddy's LA home and texts of him calling Cassie ungrateful after beating her. Hundreds of bottles of baby oil, 16 cases of Astroglide, bullets, even semi-automatic firearms were all found in Combs' homes during those raids last year. There's also text messages now that we're seeing of Diddy calling Cassie ungrateful, and this is the year following that brutal hotel beating. And then Cassie also writing to KK, Christina Karam, who was Combs' chief of staff, saying that no one deserves to be dragged by their hair.
Screens lit up across Los Angeles, then New York, then London. By sunrise, hashtags like Diddy Files and Hollywood Secrets had trended in over 20 countries, with more than 15 million mentions in less than 12 hours. The files weren't vague either. They were packed with references to private affairs, coded relationships, and shocking lists of initials cross-linked with dates and locations. The documents reportedly came from sealed evidence collected during the FBI's March 2025 raid on Diddy's Beverly Hills mansion.
We're getting a look at new video from last month's raid at Sean Diddy Combs' home in Holby Hills. The mother of one of his sons shared the video on Instagram, calling it an excessive use of force. The footage was edited and sped up. Two of Combs' sons, Justin and Christian, were briefly detained in the federal raid relating to sex trafficking allegations. Justin's mother says she's now getting a lawyer involved. There was also a raid at Combs' home in Miami as well. He has denied all of the allegations so far.
Agents walked out carrying 26 boxes of records. Entertainment outlets scrambled to keep up. CNN confirmed the leaks were authentic. Page 6 reported insiders saying the files contained disturbing details. Twitter threads decoded initials, while TikTok edits racked up millions of views, connecting blurry screenshots with A-list stars.
This is his home in Star Island. Live pictures where Homeland Security investigators are right now on the scene. We're told this is part of a federal investigation into human trafficking led out of the Southern District of New York. Once again, you're looking at live pictures from the home of Sean Combs, also known as Diddy. HSI is on the scene right now. We also do have video from his home in Los Angeles. HSI Los Angeles is on scene there, and you can see it is a big scene outside of this big home. We're told that this is a breaking situation. We don't have any word if there's an arrest that's imminent, but you can see heavily armed vehicles and officers and agents are outside the home right now. This is a developing story, not only in Los Angeles, but right here in South Florida. As soon as we get more, Nicole, we will let you.
But here's the curveball. Rihanna's name never appeared in the files. Instead, what stunned fans was her reported reaction.
Jag W once again said that Rihanna left the United States through DIY overnight. So, they went to Barbados, but they made a deal there with her parents, who then picked her up. She was 16. She came to the United States alone. And as soon as she arrived in the United States, Jay took her straight to Jay, to a building there, to a room, to sign the contract with Jay-Z. And then there's an interview with her saying, I think Tara Banks, if I'm not mistaken, model, says, so, how was it signing with Jay-Z and stuff? How was that? You coming here? Quote, then she said, oh, I signed with Jay-Z. Now I'm going to start the songs. And then she comments like this. The DJ himself also said this. He said, oh, around 3 o'clock in the morning I ended up signing the contract. In other words, the guys spent the night there convincing her to sign. And then she said that they said something like this. D and Jay-Z said, look, you have two ways to leave this room. Either sign the contract and leave through the door or leave through the window of the building. Rihanna herself says this in this interview, and then Jaguar Rice said, man, I know a lot of things. Then, she says that she came to talk about how all this happened, and then people started making allegations, rumors that, man, that's why Rihanna isn't singing anymore. Doesn't want to sing, doesn't want to know about singing, you know,
According to a Page 6 insider, Rihanna was visibly shaken when she heard the news. Her team even confirmed she was deeply disturbed. Why was her reaction publicized at all? Silence would have made sense if she had no ties, but the fact that her camp acknowledged it gave the scandal an entirely new layer. Fans weren't just dissecting Diddy's hidden affairs anymore, they were dissecting Rihanna's shock. And just like that, one woman's silence became louder than all of Hollywood's noise. Now the question wasn't only about who was exposed, it was why Rihanna, of all people, reacted this way. To understand why Rihanna's reaction caught fire, we have to rewind the clock. Their paths first crossed in the mid-2000s.
Some people are saying that Eminem saved Rihanna by featuring on her songs like Monster. Rihanna has a complicated relationship with Diddy. Eminem, who's he close with? 50 Cent.
Have you ever had any kind of an issue with Eminem?
No, never with him, because he's done everything for me.
If Diddy knows that Rihanna's protected by Eminem, Diddy can't say shit because they have so much stuff on him. Him being featured in the song Monster, which is kind of like ironic. There's a monster under my bed.
Oh,
you know what I mean? Talking about Diddy.
Yo, that's sick. That's actually sick. That's actually
you know what I
sick.
mean?
Yeah.
You have ties. Rihanna has ties.
Rihanna was still a teenager climbing the charts. In 2007, People magazine captured photos of her attending one of Diddy's legendary Miami mansion parties. Lavish affairs where music moguls, actors, and athletes blended into a haze of champagne and secrecy. Back then, the pictures seemed harmless, just another rising star mingling with the elite. But insiders later painted a different picture. By 2011, whispers began circulating that Rihanna had distanced herself from certain industry gatherings. Page 6 even reported that she skipped a high-profile New Year's Eve event hosted by Diddy, despite being expected. No reason was given, but speculation lingered. Fast forward to 2016. Billboard ran a piece hinting that Diddy offered Rihanna a partnership deal through his Bad Boy Entertainment label. Nothing public came of it. Rumors said the deal fell apart quietly, but no one knew why. Some sources even claimed Rihanna wasn't comfortable with the atmosphere surrounding those meetings, so when the FBI's 2025 files went viral, Rihanna's stunned reaction wasn't just a random comment, it was a callback to a history few remembered. Fans started digging, resurfacing those old photos and reports, piecing together a timeline that suddenly looked less innocent. Why was Rihanna so shaken in 2025? Was it because the leaked details mirrored what she had seen with her own eyes? Or did she know something darker, something she's never spoken about? Her silence didn't erase the questions, it amplified them. And now, every connection from the past felt like a clue. But the real storm wasn't in the history. It was in the names buried inside those files. The leaked files weren't just paperwork, they were a roadmap of scandal. According to a CNN court insider, several documents referenced confidential relationships, with notes linking initials to dates, hotels, and even private jet flight logs. Entire pages were redacted, but what remained was explosive enough. Entertainment Tonight aired blurred screenshots of these files, sparking wild decoding games online. One Reddit thread, with over 80,000 upvotes in 2 days, attempted to cross-check those initials against celebrity travel records. The findings? Shocking overlaps between Diddy's movements from 2012 to 2018 and appearances by multiple A-list actresses and singers. The speculation was relentless. Was it coincidence? Or did those coded notes point to hidden affairs with women Hollywood believed untouchable? One entertainment lawyer told Variety, "If half of what's in those files holds up, we're looking at a scandal bigger than Harvey Weinstein." And then came the Rihanna connection. Subtle, but explosive. She wasn't named in the files, yet her reaction kept resurfacing in headlines. Why would her team confirm she was stunned if she had no involvement? For many fans, it felt like an indirect validation. The files weren't rumors, they were real. Even more unsettling, TikTok sleuths unearthed old clips of Rihanna sidestepping questions about industry parties, where she laughed nervously or shifted the subject. In 2025, those harmless moments suddenly looked like hints. Hollywood thrives on silence. But silence, when paired with leaked files, sounds like confession. So if Rihanna's reaction made the story louder, the hidden affairs buried in the documents made it thunder. And this thunderstorm was only beginning, because the real damage came when Hollywood tried to bury the fallout. By March 18th, the scandal reached a boiling point. Variety reported that 6 A-list celebrities had hired crisis management teams. These weren't just PR agents. They were elite firms known for scrubbing digital footprints, planting counterstories, and reshaping narratives. The Daily Mail claimed lawyers worked overtime, sending cease and desist letters to gossip blogs. Page 6 revealed that editors at TMZ were pressured to tone down coverage or risk losing access to future exclusives. Hollywood's machinery of silence was grinding at full speed. Yet Rihanna's team chose a different path. Instead of burying her reaction, they let the stunned narrative breathe. Some insiders believed this was a calculated move, painting her as the outsider, the witness, the woman who saw enough to be disturbed but refused to be complicit. Fans noticed the shift immediately. Hashtags like #RihannaKnows and #SheSawEverything began trending. Her Instagram comments flooded with questions. What did you see? What do you know? Ironically, by saying almost nothing, Rihanna became the face of the scandal without ever being named in it. And here lies the paradox. Silence can be the loudest statement. Every day Rihanna stayed quiet, the public grew more convinced she held pieces of the puzzle. Meanwhile, Hollywood insiders whispered that the fallout wasn't just about reputations. It was about contracts, billion-dollar franchises, and even political ties. The files, if fully exposed, threatened to unravel more than personal lives. They threatened to destabilize the business of Hollywood itself. And caught in the crossfire was Rihanna, a symbol of authenticity in an industry drowning in spin. But as the world speculated, one bigger question emerged. What does Rihanna's silence mean for Hollywood's future? By late March, the Diddy scandal had morphed into something bigger than one man. Rolling Stone ran an op-ed titled, "Rihanna's Silence Speaks Louder Than Diddy's Files." The New York Times suggested her reaction could reshape how Hollywood manages damage control. On The View, panelists debated whether celebrities would ever feel safe at industry parties again. One even asked, if someone like Rihanna was disturbed, what does that say about the rest of us who never had her power to walk away? Fans flooded Rihanna's platforms, not with hate, but with curiosity. They weren't accusing her, they were begging her to speak. She became the audience's mirror, the bystander stunned into silence. In a scandal built on exposure, her refusal to explain became the most powerful statement of all. And that's the irony. Rihanna never appeared in the files. She wasn't accused, she wasn't named, yet her reaction turned her into the story. Her silence became the symbol of Hollywood's unspoken shadows, the things whispered behind closed doors but never acknowledged publicly. For Hollywood, the message was clear. The old systems of silence no longer work. In 2025, a single stunned reaction can echo louder than all the lawyers, PR agents, and spin doctors combined. So what happens next? If these were just the first leaks, what more could surface? And if Rihanna, untouchable, independent, admired, was shaken, how many others were too afraid to admit the same? The files may have exposed Diddy, but Rihanna's silence exposed Hollywood itself. And that's where it ends, for now. The files shook Diddy, but Rihanna's stunned silence shook Hollywood harder. Sometimes the loudest truth isn't what's revealed, but what remains unspoken. If this is just the beginning, the next revelation could rewrite Hollywood forever. Subscribe, because the biggest secrets are still buried, and they're coming.